Spoilers! There, you got your chanting. You happy? I'm gonna be honest with you, my facial hair was itching like a motherfucker today. But I wanted to keep it for this spoiler talk because T'Challa has awesome facial hair. So I figured a good compromise would be just have T'Challa's facial hairstyle. It's not too bad, is it? I actually think it looks kind of cool. I just didn't have enough time to grow that whole beard out, oh well. But anyways, yeah, this is a spoiler talk for Black Panther. If you've not seen this movie yet, do not watch this video. Turn it off right now, because you really need to go see this movie. Like right now. Hence the rating I gave it. And as far as spoilers go, they're really self-contained. They're not really about the bigger tie-ins to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because there really weren't any as far as the Infinity War goes and with Thanos and all that. There are a couple that I will touch on, but I mean, they're not really until towards the end. I mean, the biggest one is the post-credit scene. So enough babbling, let's go right into the spoilers of Black Panther. Final warning, go watch it. Alright, so the movie starts out with some Wakandan father telling his son the origin of Wakanda. I don't know if this is actually truly what happened or if it's just a legend. It's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it could be either. But according to the story, millions of years ago, this meteorite containing vibranium crashed on Earth in Africa in the land that would eventually become Wakanda, and the people exploited this material to build this society. 5 different tribes, they called the land Wakanda. Alright, first thing, we now know that vibranium is not originally of Earth. So yeah, the material that Captain America's shield is made out of is alien. It's from the cosmos. It's from God knows where. Maybe in Infinity War or the 4th Avengers movie we'll find out where it's really from. Because I'm curious. I want to know. And why did a meteor full of this stuff crash on Earth? But anyways, the tale goes on to show the origin of the Black Panther. The heart-shaped herb gives a person of royalty the powers of the Black Panther. And the Panther goddess Bast, who T'Challa mentioned in Civil War, if you listen carefully, when he was talking to Black Widow about death, he said Bast and Sekhmet pull you into this big green field where you can run forever. Which I do agree, that does sound very peaceful. But then after the Marvel Studios logo, we're in Oakland, California in the year 1992 for a little more setup. And this part of the story more or less explains the origins of the villain, and it's gonna get pretty complicated, so here we go, try to keep up. T'Challa's father was King T'Chaka. T'Chaka's brother was N'Jobu. N'Jobu and fellow Wakandan Zuri, who at an older age is played by Forrest Whitaker, were staying in Oakland doing some sort of Wakandan spy mission, but basically N'Jobu fell in love with an American woman and had a child, a son. But unfortunately, N'Jobu also had some secret deals with Ulysses Klaue, Andy Serkis's character, who we all first met back in Avengers Age of Ultron. So because N'Jobu got busted, he tried to make a quick escape. He pointed a gun at Zuri, forcing T'Chaka to kill his own brother N'Jobu. King T'Chaka killed his own brother to save Zuri's life. They thought that truth was too bad to bring back to Wakanda, so to reinforce that lie, they left N'Jobu's son, named N'Jadaka, stranded in Oakland. So since then, young N'Jadaka, aka Eric Stevens, aka later on Killmonger, has built up a grudge against the Wakandan royal bloodline. So there that is. Fast forward to present day, and T'Challa is coming home from the events of Captain America Civil War. He's going to assume his father's mantle as King of Wakanda. But before that can happen, would anyone like to challenge the Black Panther? I love this challenge day scene because you see all the different tribes. Zuri's like, the power of the Black Panther will be stripped away. So T'Challa loses his power and no one is challenging T'Challa until the Jabari tribe shows up. The Jabari tribe is the one tribe out of the 5 that isolates themselves from the rest of Wakanda because they don't agree with all the technological advancements that they're making. But their leader M'Baku comes down to challenge T'Challa and they have a pretty sweet fight. But I really like the character of M'Baku. When he's serious, that is. When he's pulling off some joke, it's a little too easy humor for me. But when he's pissed off, he does that gorilla growl, that I don't know, I just love that shit. It's so unique. I wish people could just do that when they're pissed and just not have it be weird. So after T'Challa becomes king, they go on their first mission. They go after Klaue in South Korea. Turns out Klaue was making a deal with Everett Ross, but it leads to a pretty badass car chase scene. Holy shit, this scene is awesome. It's probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I don't know what's one of my favorite action scenes, but it's just one of my favorite scenes because it's so much fun to watch. I found that song that plays during that scene. It is the song Ops from the Black Panther album, but it's sped up a little bit, so it's just more catchy. But this scene is so badass because, you know, Black Panther is on top of a Lexus car, and Shuri, back in Wakanda, is driving it remotely. I mean, when you look at all the absurdly ridiculous tech that Wakanda has, I'm like, that is just not possible. I mean, this technology reaches Kingsman levels of absurdity. That's hard to say. Reaches Kingsman levels of absurdity. This technology reaches Kingsman levels of absurdity. Nailed it. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't really cool though. But Everett Ross is fatally wounded in the back by a bullet, so they decide, fine, we'll bring him back to Wakanda. We got an outsider in our borders now, and that's gonna divide the people. And it turns out that Ulysses Klaue was working with Eric Killmonger the whole time, but eventually Killmonger was like, alright, I don't need you anymore. In fact, I can use your dead body to get ahead in Wakanda. So Killmonger kills Claw. And when he shows up in Wakanda, he just comes right up on their doorstep, drops Claw's dead body. He's walking in like he already owns the place. Michael B. Jordan is awesome in this movie. He really is. He's like right up face to face with T'Challa. He's like, I want the throne. I want all your shit. We need to use this technology to help those in need and stop our oppressors. But I love when he reveals who he is. He's like, I am N'Jaka, son of N'Jobu. And that hip hop beat cues up that... I'm like, this is awesome. And he challenges T'Challa for the throne. And this is a great fight scene because he explains to T'Challa, I have been training my entire life for this. I've served in the military. I killed my own brothers and sisters on this continent just so I could kill you. I'm like, damn, dude. You really do mean business. Killmonger kills Zuri. That sucked for T'Challa. And he ends up kicking T'Challa's balls in. The way he really defeated T'Challa and threw him over the cliff, it reminded me of Arrow Season 3. You remember when Oliver Queen was fighting Ra's al Ghul, and Ra's al Ghul just impales him through the chest and kicks him off the cliff? Oliver Queen just lands in the snow and he's presumed dead for like a few more episodes, even though you know he's not dead because the name of the show is Arrow. It's pretty much the same thing here. Killmonger hurls T'Challa over the cliff. He's presumed dead for about like half an hour, which is a good long chunk of time if you ask me. But of course, you know he's not dead for a couple of reasons. One, the movie's called Black Panther, and two, have you seen the Infinity War trailer? But yeah, while everyone thinks T'Challa is dead, Killmonger's sitting on the throne like a total badass explaining his plan to the Wakandan Council. And I love what he says here. He's like, when black people started revolutions, they didn't have the weapons or technology to really face their oppressors. Where was Wakanda? I was like, yeah, damn, he's got a really good point. He's like, all right, we're gonna share our technology with the world so we can help those in need. I'm like, all right. Go you. But then he was like, and then we're gonna kill our oppressors. I was like, oh, okay, now you're going too far. That's why you're the villain. I say equality. So while Killmonger is getting his whole plan in motion, T'Challa is revived by his mother and his sister and Nakia and Everett Ross with the help of the Jabari tribe and M'Baku, which is awesome. And then T'Challa asked the Jabari tribe for their help in this fight that's coming, and they refuse at first, although they come in later in a pretty badass scene. And this leads to the final throwdown in Wakanda. I like to call it the Wakandan Civil War because that's pretty much what it is. The Dora Milaje, which are the female warriors that protect the throne, they've taken T'Challa's side, whereas W'Kabi, played by Daniel Kaluuya, he and his army have taken Killmonger's side. So these two Wakandan armies are going against each other. It's a Wakandan civil war. You have those armies fighting each other, and then you have the big Black Panther versus Killmonger fight, or Golden Jaguar, whatever you want to call them. And as fake as this fight looked, it did look just... it looked way too CG for me. It was also another one of my favorite action scenes in the movie because it also looked so cool. I mean, they're down on the train tracks, the trains are going by, the sonic things are weakening the vibranium in their suits, which gives them both a disadvantage, and they both get some solid hits in there. But in the very end, the dagger goes flying up, T'Challa catches it and just stabs Killmonger right in the heart. I was like, oh damn. The main character, the superhero, actually just killed his villain straight up. You don't really get that too often in superhero movies. And the next like 5 minutes of the movie is where Michael B. Jordan really shines to me. He looks down and he sees that he has been beat, and he looks at T'Challa. He's like, my father told me that the Wakandan sunsets are the most beautiful in the world. So T'Challa takes N'Jadaka up to see the sunset, and this is like my favorite scene in the entire movie right here. I mean, it is so kingly for the main character to take his arch nemesis and grant him his final wish. And Killmonger looks out, he's like, it's beautiful. And he actually rejects the chance to be saved because he would rather die free than live and be locked up. He says, bury me in the oceans where my ancestors jumped off the ships. I'm like, that is powerful stuff. I am always going to remember this scene. This might eventually become one of my favorite scenes in any Marvel movie ever. I'm being honest. So in the aftermath of the big fight, T'Challa is talking with Nakia. You know, they're ex-lovers and they've been reminiscing on their past relationship pretty much throughout the entire movie. And they both just finally look at each other and are like, you know what? We're just better as a couple. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. And T'Challa makes the decision that, yeah, Wakanda is now going to share its technology with the world, but in a peaceful way. They go over to that spot in Oakland where the shit went down back in '92 to establish the first ever Wakandan International building place. Then we get to the mid-credits scene where T'Challa and a couple of his friends, they're at the UN, the United Nations, to announce that we are going to share our technology with the world now. After watching the mid-credits scene, I was like, why was that a mid-credits scene exactly? Feels like that should have been part of the movie. That being said, Vibranium is now going to be shared with the world, so now the world is going to change a lot. Because we've seen Vibranium is not just the metal, it is pretty much everything. Maybe that's what attracts Thanos down to Earth for Infinity War. I don't know. I'd like to think this scene was a setup for future Marvel movies in some way, shape, or form. But then the post-credit scene is actually kind of funny because when it first starts out, it shows those 3 Wakandan children just staring right into the camera for what seems like 5 minutes. I was like, is this a staring contest? But no, it turns out that Bucky has been awoken from cryosleep, and now Shuri is going to take care of him and teach him about Wakanda and shit. And I might be alone on this, but when they were talking, I was like, is there kind of a spark there? I don't know, maybe it's the lighting. I mean, Shuri to me seems to have taken an interest in white people, so who knows? It doesn't look like an entirely bad match to me. But yeah, in the end, Black Panther was, as I said, an immersive experience. I love the hell out of this movie. I've seen it twice now. There was no huge setup for Infinity War, so now, I mean, the past few Marvel movies have not had huge setup for Infinity War. It just kind of feels like Infinity War is just gonna come from out of nowhere now. I don't like that. That being said, Infinity War is still going to be epic as fucking shit. But Black Panther still definitely gets its say. You should see it if you haven't yet. The weekend is over now, so now it's gonna be less crowded at the movie theater. So please go check it out. So I'm gonna get specific here. What is your favorite thing about the Black Panther movie? And what is your least favorite thing about the Black Panther movie? I really want to know your answers here, so whatever they are, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.